Friday. Today is Friday. Everybody got paid. February the 5th, 2021, Friday. I'm just sitting here looking at some records, y'all, and these kind of records here. We're gonna go back today a little bit and talk about what this right here really entitled. This right here was Please Mr. Postman. Who made that song? You don't know who made this song, Please Mr. Postman. The Pat Boone family. I'm just sitting here going through these type of, I ain't gonna tell you what kind of records these, because a lot of children and some grown-ups, depending on how old you are when I say grow-ups, don't even know what this right here is. Pink Floyd, Lean on Me by Maxine and Nightingale, Dr. Hook, Help Me Mama, Sexy Eyes, Dr. Hook. All right, enough of that. Today's session, we're going to go back and we're going to talk about what it takes to be a DJ and what's all entailed in being a DJ. A lot of people think that, DJs just get up and they just, some DJs still today, they'll spin records. Some DJs, everything is virtual where they, spinning it on the computer. They're just pushing a button. But the young man that I'm going to talk to today, we're going to go back and tell really what it took in the 80s, 90s, and now in the 2000s, but specifically what it took back in the 80s and 90s to be a DJ. All that and more when we come back. It's some nice rap.
You are now tuned into Urban Voice Media.
Millie Jackson, I Got a Getaway. Y'all ain't gonna believe this one. Chicago, Full Moon, the Pointer Sisters. Moving on. All right. I'm putting it down. All right, guys, as I promised y'all earlier, I'm gonna be talking to a DJ. This DJ right here, honestly, he was a DJ that inspired me to actually get into DJing myself back in the 80s and 90s. And this brother, man, I love this talk game. I love the way he would announce the records as they was coming on, the records as they was going off. and his persona as he just took the microphone and made the dance floor go to a different level, whether it was at a nightclub, a social party, a business gathering. This DJ right here was one of those that I said, you know what? I like him. I want to be like him. But this DJ I'm bringing up, he goes by DJ Dr. Jim. Doctor, how's it going, baby?
Hello, young man. How you doing?
Fabulous, man. Wonderful. Glad to have you on the set, baby.
Thank you very much. I count it a blessing. I count it a blessing.
And you saw earlier when I held this right here up. A lot of people will call that a record. You and I call it something else. For
40
those,
pounds perhaps?
yes, sir. For those who don't know, this is what Dr. Jim said. This is a 45. And we actually spent these records. We put our fingers on them and made them go round and round. Had fun with them. Jim, I'm gonna carry you back, man. First, let me ask you this here. What inspired you to actually get into being a DJ?
Well, I guess I can start out, man, probably back in the early 80s, listening to Power 98, man, listening to all the guys there. One of my mentors, Dr. Johnny Brooks is his name. He went by DJ Dr. John. I always wanted to be like him, listening to him on Power 98 at night. And then coming up to the nightclubs in Shelby. So I wanted to say, well, hey, that's what I like to do. That what gave me the mentor to just do what I was doing.
Okay. Can you recall what your first record was that you actually obtained? You can say that's mine, not daddy's, not mama's, but this is mine.
If I was to say so, man, I would probably say the LA Dream Team. The Dream Team is in the
house.
You know anything about that one?
Yes, sir. In the house. Yes, sir. Los Angeles. Mine was actually the Fat Boys, man. It was 1983, 1984. It was 1984 Christmas. My mother and father played a trick on me. And that's all I wanted for Christmas was the Fat Boys record. And I got everything else other than that record. Right. So I went in my bedroom, I'm only 14. I go to my bedroom, I'm sad, really mad, lip all stuck out. And then my mom and dad come in the back room and say, you got one more present? I didn't care. I didn't even want to see the present. And then dad said, well, if he don't want it, we'll just give the record to his brother. I said, what? So that was my first record, the Fat Boys, man.
Okay. Yeah. I know something about them too, man. I know something about them.
The first time I seen you, Jim, was I think it was at a club called Studio 52 with DJ Spider-Man and DJ Dollar Bill. And
they great. The Prime Minister of Funk, Dollar Bill.
Man. I salute to this brother.
Amen.
And me and Dollar Bill, we was around the same neighborhood, and he knew what I was doing. And he asked me, did I want to come in and spin on the turntables? And I'm like, no, I can't do what you guys are doing. And then, he pushed me on in there and everything. And I started spinning, but while I was spinning the turntables, they were doing all the MCing. And that was my thing, because I couldn't MC at the time.
Right.
But that's why I say people like you and him inspired me to know how to talk to the crowd just as well as we use this term as we were DJing, re-rock the crowd.
Right.
So who inspired you to the way you handle yourself on the microphone? Was it one specific person other than the guy at 98, or you just said, this is the route I want to go, this is how I want to do it?
No, one of the, and I have to give him big props, is the late great Dollar Bill, the Prime Minister of Funk. I had to give him big props.
That's great, man. He was a, and ladies and gentlemen, this DJ, he was not only a DJ, he was a musician and a singer, an artist all the way around the board. He was all that. And it was just phenomenal to watch these guys do what they do. And as I come into the new generation, along with you, Jim, we bring the extra things in reference to blending a lot. I said a lot of DJs back in that era, they would play the song all the way through. Then they bring another one up, where in the newer era, we learned how to mix the songs without the song actually having to end. We would bring another one in, bring it on the same beat. But Jim, let me ask you, as you got older, you know, and music started changing, what effect did it take on you when you started seeing the record shop started closing up?
Well, my thing about that was, you know, there were certain places you could go to here in Shelby, Forest City, perhaps, maybe Gastonia, and get records. But slowly but surely, they was being outdated. And then the CDs were coming in. So it might have been sort of hard to go pick up 12 inches or even 45s, perhaps. It seemed somewhat hard to go and pick those up at that particular time.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, when he said 12 inches, he was talking about this right here. Earlier, I showed you the 45. You can see the difference. There's a real big difference here. 45, 12 inch. And these are the things that we played music off of in the 80s, 90s, and some in the 2000s. And even today, we can still play them. But it's much easier now. Would you say you'd wish we'd have had the technology that we have now back then?
Honestly, man, I'd rather really just stick with the 12 inches. Of course, you know, today's technology, you know, it's much easier, but I think it's better that someone that's actually getting into this field, that they learn it from scratch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, that they learn from where we came up, where you could see where you could mix records with the same beat, not only with 45s, but with 12 inches, where you could actually it's a hands-on operation. Nowadays, all I can do is just put it on the computer and just hit a song and it comes up, you know?
You know, when have you ever taught someone how to DJ? How to spin records?
A few people.
What was one of the first things they wanted to do? Did they wanted to scratch, or they wanted to pay attention is learn how to blend?
No, everybody wanted to know how to scratch. That's all hey man, how can I, you know, that's all they wanted to do. But of course, you know, like I told them, that comes down the road. You know, you got to get your priorities in line. You got to start from scratch, you know, and I'm not talking about scratching a record. I'm talking about starting from the beginning, from where it all takes place as being a DJ.
Mm-hmm. I had the luxury to interview a guy a couple of weeks ago, and years ago he had came to me and he asked me to show him how to DJ. So I told him, I said, get behind the booth. And he had seen me in clubs and, you know, parties and gatherings and stuff and DJing. So he didn't need to see me no more. All he needed to do is listen. And I told him, I said, get that record, put the headsets on. And as that one record playing, you try to match that beat to this beat and slowly bring it in. Of course, he did what you said. He wanted to start scratching. I stopped him. I said, no, scratching is the easiest part. Mixing and blending, once you get that fundamental down pat, you're now classified as a DJ.
Right, right.
But the thing that I would love to see more out of DJs today is to see them more vocal like you were. You know, because there's a lot of times you can go to places and the DJ, you barely hear his voice. And I just think the DJ pumping that song up makes it that much more better, especially if you at the bar and you're just sitting there and the DJ's getting ready to tell you such and such and such, get ready, come on, I'm getting ready to blend it in, blah, 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 boom. And I hear you, do this for me, doctor. For the people who never heard your talk game,
right?
Say something that you generally say when you on the air, when you promoting and telling the people who you are. Just say something for the people.
Well, I'll give you an introduction. Like normally, whenever I'm doing my Quiet Storm at night, I'll normally play the first song, and I'll come up with the introduction on the second song. For instance, today being Friday, it's a TGIF affair with the Southeast West most requested DJ Dr. Jen. That's how I do it.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, he does go deeper in calling them songs off. And he'll get in there and tell you what Potato Pendergrass was saying. Shut the door. Turn off the lights.
You know something? I have a lot of folks that say to me, hey man, why do you talk all the time when you DJ? You know, what folks don't understand is I look at that from an aspect of if an individual, if this is their first time actually hearing me, what I want to do is show them the song, not only that, but who makes the song, because someone may be in a bar, wherever they might be, and the first thing, curiosity may flow and say, hey, I wonder who made that song. Well, that's my job as a DJ to tell you who actually made that song, who sings that song. You know, not only that, but perhaps even give you the time. And actually, I heard this a lot of times with my mentor, Dr. John at WPG at the time. He would actually tell you, you know, what time it is, what the weather forecast is like. Not only that, but what the songs that's coming up. So you can look forward to these type of things. So that's why I continue to carry that on.
And you know, Doctor, that's a good point, because like I said, if there's some songs that's playing that I'm not really too much, you know, interested in, but I heard you say you're going to be playing such and such song, I can be like, hey, baby, we're going to dance and the next song come up, or the next two songs come up, we're going to be dancing. You know, that way we can be prepared. We won't go to the restroom or go get another drink or whatever, go get something to eat. You know, we're ready to go dance because our jam get ready to come on. So that's a good point. And I would like for people to take heed to that and not look at it lightly as to, you know, I wish the DJ wouldn't do this, do that, because it's a purpose behind everything that we do as DJs.
Exactly.
Now, let me ask you, Jim, are you still, do you still do functions? I mean, I know with COVID going on, things are slowed, but as a working DJ, are you still working?
Yes, I'm still doing that. Matter of fact, believe it or not, I have an event next Saturday. It's an oldies birthday party, believe it or not. You know, with this COVID situation that's going on, I try to maintain the focus and stay, you know, keep my distance away. I have an area anywhere that I go to DJ a party or wedding reception, whatever. I try to maintain the fact and keep my space, a distance to where I am away from the crowd or away from anybody else. And I try to, you know, keep this 6 feet and make sure I got my mask on, believe it or not. Even, you know, that's what it calls for. So I just have to more or less just to be safe. And that's what I try to do.
If I'm not mistaken, Jim, is that a 1200 turntable to the left of you?
It is. It is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what a 1200 is, it's called Technics 1200. That's what we spent on. That was the best, and still to this day, the best turntable that's ever been made.
You know,
I say that to say this right here, Jim. This right here, and you know, Jim and
I need to get that from you.
Yes, sir. This is a classic. The Scratch Master was the classic. It said Gemini Scratch Master. I've had that since 1988.
Really?
And it won't leave me until I leave this planet.
Exactly.
My 1200s will not leave me until I leave this planet.
Exactly. You know something, and I'm glad to see that you have 1200s, because you know that was something that I was going to focus on in my earlier days being a DJ. That was my ultimate dream, to have me 2 1200s. Oh man, if you had 1200s, you was top notch. You know what I mean?
And see, that's what inspired me right there to get 1200s. Those are 1200s, ladies and gentlemen. And you see that mixer he got right there? Yes, sir.
Right.
And that's one of the baddest DJs still living on this land.
Jazzy Jeff.
Everything I did, you know, when it come to mixing and making the parties hot, I mimic behind that brother right there. But Jim, as music evolved, I got out of music because of personal reasons with the music. The music wasn't party music no more. And I found the crowd was more going towards the music like what we have of today. And I just couldn't find myself as a DJ being able to spin, because for me, I got hot on the turntables by watching people dance.
Okay.
What motivated you to keep you motivated to keep DJing today?
Well, for one, with this atmosphere that we have today, I try to more or less be what you call an old school DJ. The young kids today, man, it's music out there today, man. It's just completely out of this world to me, to be honest with you. That's why I more or less try to stay in the old school range, and more or less because I know how to keep a crowd on the dance floor, as you say, long as I'm spinning my old school music. That's what they want to hear. And I know how to keep them on the dance floor in that type of atmosphere when I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm. Now, not only are you a DJ, you also into broadcasting. So you're on the radio now, right?
Right.
A little bit.
I'm actually taking up my classes right now. As you can see, this is where I'm at in the studio at Cleveland Community College at C19. Actually, that's where I'm at now. And that's what I'm trying to complete my degree.
All right. So once you complete your degree from broadcasting, what are you going to do there? Are you going to be on TV, or are you going to be in the radio?
Radio. I got some good friends down at 105.3 down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Big props out to them, to my partner Eddie O, wherever he may be, and also to the whole entire 105.3 crew down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Big props goes out to y'all. So that's what my dream is.
Mm-hmm. Do you have like a protege that you're teaching now to do what you do?
Actually, what I'm doing now is getting the fundamentals, getting all the fundamentals down pat, which, you know, it's pretty easy once you get them all together. And then from there, that's why I go home nightly and do my quiet storm. So, you know, there's a certain amount of hours that you have to complete. So I'll try to get myself prepared for that in the process of doing my quiet storm at night on Facebook. That's the reason, one of the primary reasons why I actually do that.
Mm-hmm. I know I've tuned into your quiet storm several times, and I noticed that you say that you're the Southeast most requested DJ. Now, do you travel outside of North and South Carolina to DJ, or just predominantly within the area where you are?
Yes, I do. More or less, I tag myself as the Northeast Southwest most requested DJ. And when I do that, I try to just, you know, if someone calls me and it's within the area, within range, you know, I try to accommodate.
Mm-hmm. What's one of the toughest functions it was for you to DJ?
And I've done so many of them. I just try to, I guess, you know, just getting in the range where I try to accommodate the people that's in the crowd. Mm-hmm. When I'm looking out, when I'm actually DJing and I'm playing music, if I can't see people on the dance floor dancing, I feel like I'm not doing my job adequately. So now, as long as I can look out here on the dance floor and I can see 20, 30, 40, 50 people on the dance floor, that I can say within myself, Dr. Jim, you're doing your job.
Yes, sir.
That makes me feel better.
Yes, sir. And that's one thing, you know, I try to tell a lot of people, if there's nobody dancing on the floor, that DJ is not doing what he's supposed to do, what she's supposed to be doing. Now, right. I've seen some lady DJs, bad. I mean, can burn them turntables up.
Yes.
And I say that to say to people, DJing is about like picking up a guitar or playing the piano or playing drums. You're not going to do it on the first try.
Right.
You have to practice at that thing until you can master on blending and mixing. And it's a big difference. It's a difference. Just put the record on and say, hey, I can do this today and I can make the crowd dance. No, you can't. Let me ask you, Jim. When, as you stated that your main focus is in broadcasting. Is that where you want to have your career? As far as I go back and I look at my legacy. My legacy was DJing, and I ended my career with broadcasting. Or will you DJ until you can't do it no more?
That's one of my goals, man. I just try to go where the good Lord leads me, man. That's where I try to go. And for right now, just in this field. I don't know if you're aware of it, but since 2018, I've been having a lot of functions that's called Unity in the Community here in Shelby, North Carolina. I feel like the good Lord has led me down that path as well. And matter of fact, we are at number 5 now. We've had 4 spectacular events. And that's why I continue to do these. Matter of fact, we have got number 5 on the horizon. And quiet as kept, I'd like for you to be a part of it.
Hey, Jim, back in the days when every time we went to a function, I always had a backup DJ. Because back then we had to bend over in crates and our back was bent over, picking out records, putting the records back in, turning around, and we constantly over the turntable like this. So I know what it's like to give a DJ a break. And there was actually a song called out back in the 90s, 80s or 90s called Give the DJ a Break.
Exactly.
And it's for real, because your back, your arms, they get tired. And brother, I would love to come and sit on the set and spin once again for Cleveland County. I would love it.
Okay.
So if you ever need a break, wherever you at, if you ever need a break and I'm available, hit me up.
Okay. If you don't mind, I like to take a pause and give some special shout outs to some individuals that's here in Shelby. First of all, to the late great Prime Minister Funk Dollar Bill, my right hand man, to Captain Rerun, to Howard T, to Cut Nasty. And I know some of the DJs are gonna say, hey, why you didn't mention me? Right now, I'm just trying to recall some of the guys that actually has inspired me to become a DJ, the DJ that I am today. Once again, to the late great Frank Shell, I'll always remember you. To my partner, Captain Rerun, Howard T, all the guys that still DJ, Cut Nasty, Horace, Brother Horace. I can't leave you out the bunch. And to all the guys, Brother T, I can't forget about you. As I said, there's a lot of DJs here that's here in Shelby and that I've known throughout the area. And I give big shouts out to them.
I like to add to his list also David Borders. David DJ'd for years at the skating ring in Shelby called Kate's Skating Ring. And he predominantly DJ'd on Soul Night, which was Sunday nights. And that was the big thing for the African Americans in Shelby at that time. And that was another inspiration, just seeing what he did to the crowd on the floor. After the skating hours over, it was dance hours until it was time to close. And he did great service there. And actually, that was one of the first functions I took over after one of the names you named was DJ T, Terrence Durham. He did it for him, and Kenny Card did it for a while. And then after they gave it up, me and Tetri Byers, T-Tron, my right-hand man, we took over.
Right. And I forgot to mention, of course, obviously I got to give big props out to the late great Kenny Card, KC as I call it. One of my other partners, back in the early days. Of course, I can't forget about him. He was a great inspiration as well.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to what Dr. Jim said, he named at least 7, 8, and I added on a couple more DJs. There was a lot of DJs in Cleveland County area that, kept entertainment flowing through in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. So, even though it wasn't New York, it wasn't Jersey, it wasn't Atlanta, it wasn't LA, it was entertainment there.
Exactly. I can remember, man, believe it or not, I can remember probably back about 86, 85, 86. We used to have a club in Shelby called Another Dimension. Man, it was so many people that was up in there, man. You would have thought maybe that you was in Charlotte or New York, because the place used to be slam packed. And that was one where I actually met Dr. John. Actually, at that time, the guys used to be the WPG All-Stars. When they came to town on the weekend, everybody used to be on Lineberger Street in Shelby at Another Dimension. Of course, you know, those guys, Skip Murphy, Michael Saunders, Afternoon Traffic Jammer, Dr. John.
Let me ask you, Jim. I'm gonna cut you out. Let me ask you. There was a club in Shelby called the Aquarius Club. Is it true that there was an aquarium in the dance floor?
We had that place. That was not. Yes, that was nice, man. That was one of the nightclubs in Shelby as well. Hey, man, and that place there, believe it or not, that place used to be sold out as well. That was one of the places that Captain Rerun DJ'd along with Duck Dillingham, Howard T. That's where all those guys was DJing at. And while I was DJing at the Chapter 2, and then Dollar Bill and Spider-Man, them was at Studio 52 in Shelby. Man,
all right, stop right there. Studio 52. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting to school, y'all. Dollar Bill, his brother, Ernest Watson, is a prolific painter. I mean, he has art galleries in Greensboro, Charlotte. I mean, not Charlotte, but Greensboro and Atlanta. One of his pictures was on the Martin Lawrence show. If you go back and look at one of the episodes of Martin Lawrence, as Martin them opened the door, the picture was to the right. That picture is of Studio 52, of what Studio 52 looked like in Shelby, North Carolina. And Ernest Watson drew that picture. And everybody think it's JJ Goodtime's picture. That's Studio 52.
Right. Hey, man, we had some great memories there, man. Some real great memories. I can't say that anybody that actually grew up in that era, they can't forget about Studio 52. And I got to stop and give big props out to the late, great Mr. Steve Hoskins. May you continue to rest in peace.
Oh, man.
He was the guy that owned that club.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I DJed there twice. I want to say 3 times, but I know twice I DJed there. And the first time, like I say, Spider-Man and Dollar Bill, you know, they opened the doors to me. But that place, if you DJed at 52, you're known.
Exactly.
You where it's at.
Exactly. And that combination there that you just
Charlotte all the way down, everybody knew Studio 52.
That combination there that you just mentioned, Spider-Man and Dollar Bill, man, that was, hey, they kept the dance floor on fire. I mean, you could look around that place, man, and the whole place, the whole dance floor would be sold out, man. Those guys done terrific, man, always.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, you had named a name, Rerun. I can't forget him. Man, it seemed like every time you turn around, he was doing a party somewhere. He stayed busy.
Yes.
And think about it, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. These DJs today, they get paid. I don't know about you, Jim, but I didn't get paid but $75 a night.
Wow.
And the majority of my money went to buying more records.
Exactly.
And at that time, those records was $4.99. Sometimes you can get them at $3.99, but mainly they were $4.99. So you might as well say $5.25, $5.30 a record. And I only got paid $75 an event, no matter what the event was. That's what I got paid.
I used to go to a place called Music City up in Forest City, North Carolina.
Whiteside.
And yes, and he actually it started out being here in Shelby, and he moved to Forest City. But I used to go there, man, and he knew that I was DJing, man, because I would go in there and he would have me a list. He'd tell me, Dr. Jim, you need to get this, man. You need to get this. And I listened to it for a minute and see how I could mix it in and where I would mix it in while I'm on the 1 and 2s. Hey, and he'd have me a whole list, and I just, okay, I got it. Let's go. Because it's no telling when somebody may come to you and say, hey, play this song or play this song, you know, and you want to accommodate the people that's there, that's coming to say, hey, do you got this or do you got that? You know, it's a lot of times when I didn't have it, and I felt bad because I couldn't put a request on that somebody would make, you know. But you could rest assured that if I didn't have it at that particular moment, that was one of my goals, to make sure I wouldn't got it in case I ran into that individual the next time. Right. And I would even say, hey, I got something special for you. I remember last week when you wanted to hear this.
Let me ask you, with the way technology is and the way you DJ now, is it more easier for you if someone say, hey, do you have the newest by Cardi B? You can now download it if they got Wi-Fi?
Right. Yeah, of course, you know, obviously it's more easier now because you could just go wherever and pull whatever song up and there it is for you. You know, it's not like it was back in the days because you never knew what an individual wanted to hear. So therefore you just had to just more or less just take a guess. But nowadays you could just bring it up and here it is. Bam, you got it.
Jim, I appreciate you coming to the roundtable session, man. Is there anything about what you're doing that you want the public, the world to know about Dr. Jim before we get out of here and start enjoying our Friday?
Man, you know, there's a lot of things that I could actually talk about, but I first and foremost want to give big shouts out to God Almighty, to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing me to be here, for allowing me to do the things that I do. Without him, there's no Dr. Jim. You know, I more or less thank him for each and every day and allow me to do the things that I'm able to do. Obviously, I have to thank you for allowing me to be in your session. And I look forward to having many, many more. Next time, I'm going to be the host that let you do what I'm doing.
All right now.
And big shout, once again, big shouts to all the DJs across the land, to all the DJs in Shelby, and surrounding areas, to all of my good friends down at 105.3, 101.9, Power 98. Thanks to all you guys for all that you guys allowed me to do. And big props goes out to each and every one of y'all.
Awesome. You heard it first here at the roundtable session. Jim, once again, you want to come back to the session, man? Anything you're doing, I'll be more than happy to do an interview with you. Let the world know all about DJ Dr. Jim, the Southeast most requested DJ.
Hey, and my thing is before I go, and like I always do on my Quiet Storm, before I go, and that's my motto, remember the 3 laws of always. Always believe in God, always believe in yourself, and always love your family. Thank you.
Awesome. Until next time, I enjoyed you, Jim.
Enjoyed it as well.
All right, man.